What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here in this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, let's talk about SPS because Bitcoin is up to 64K. There was some good news coming out of the Fed for a potential September rate cut, is what it seems like, and the market is reacting accordingly. But that is not what has caused SPS to do almost a 2x, 100% gain from its all-time low of 0.0042 or 41 maybe even, right? We are closing in on that actually quite quickly, and Bitcoin still hasn't even hit all-time high. But that being said, we're going to look at this, and the haters are going to say, well, SPS is still down 99%. And you know what? You were absolutely right. So this isn't, I don't want to like get too crazy and celebrate too much here. I think it's a good sign, and I think it's a good, a good omen of things to come that people are feeling quite bullish on this space. People are feeling bullish on the project, and therefore are buying. But I think there is a missed opportunity here, and may I even say, this is, there's even almost like a bit of a danger here in terms of what's happening. Danger might be too strong of a word. What I'm trying to get at is the fact that SPS is starting to go up purely based on speculation rather than the activation of the flywheel. Now, why is that important? Well, it's because we want to burn as much SPS as possible. We want the fundamentals of the ecosystem to drive this. Yes, hype and speculation are all part of the territory. It comes with it in crypto and Web3 gaming, doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, what we know is sustainable in the long term is getting the tokenomics to a place where we can cut through all the BS and actually show true demand and limited supply and start to move up in that way. And I would say back in December of last year, when Rebellion first came out, that was the first instance that we saw of the flywheel triggering in a way that was in a way that was appropriate, right? In a way that was accurate and authentic. Whereas now what we're seeing is a spike in the price of SPS, yet DEC is still 30% below peg. So all that tells me is you have a lot of people who are coming in and getting hyped on SPS, so much so that they're moving the price, right? They're moving the price significantly to the point that we are, hopefully close. We'll get back to a penny very soon. But none of that is being driven by the fundamentals for the flywheel, right? We want to see all of that happening in terms of true demand coming in for SPS through the flywheel and burning in that way. Now, at the end of the day, I'm not going to complain, right? I'm not going to complain if somebody wants to come in and buy millions of SPS. More power to them, right? Like that's exactly what we want for people to have that utility. And maybe, something that might be difficult to quantify now is how many of this could be new or returning players that are actually coming in and being like, okay, sure, I'll buy, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 SPS. Let's see where this thing goes, right? And if you have enough of those folks that are coming in, it doesn't need to be like hundreds of people. I mean, even 10 people coming in to buy, 50,000 SPS is going to move the market, right? And again, I'm just throwing out random numbers here, right? My whole point is that we're not quite sure what's driving this, but it sure as hell isn't the flywheel, right? So I'm not saying that it's a bad thing by any means. Again, the best marketing that we can have is a gigantic green candle, and we're starting to get that, at least compared to a lot of the other projects out there. Closing in on 2x is not a small thing by any means, and everybody loves to see percentage gains, right? So now, as we start to go through what will hopefully be, a bull run, if people go and look at the lowest point, they'll be like, holy crap, this thing did, 2, 4, 10, 20, 30, 50x, right? From that point, and that adds even more hype. But getting back to the fundamentals of this, we are still quite far away from peg. And as you can see here, we've slowed down significantly on the amount of SPS being burned. I mean, in the last 2 months, we've gone from 60 million, right, to 61.4. So only 1.4 million SPS burned over the past 2 months, which is not surprising. But this is all to say that with SPS having, jumped up over the past 2, maybe 3 weeks, so much so, and none of that is causing, none of that is due to SPS being burned for DEC. That's just something to keep an eye on. So that's all I'm going to say. It's just something to keep an eye on. Now, in terms of where we need to go from a DEC perspective, I was thinking that we needed to burn like 1 billion DEC, and that was when we had 5.7. So we would need to get down to 4.7 billion, and we are, 900 million still away from that. Granted, there's a lot of other opportunities coming up. We know that there's some. We know there's a mini set in the works. We know there's a whole slew of promo cards that will be coming out in the near future. And so right now it's just a waiting game. And in that time, this is what I'm trying to get at here, right? Ultimately, in that time, we are seeing SPS go up, meaning that when the flywheel actually activates, SPS is going to be at a higher price. And that's going to be a good thing in and of itself, right? But we aren't going to burn as much SPS as I was hoping we would. So again, this is not a bad thing. It's just missed opportunity in certain ways. And ultimately, I'll do a separate video on this, considering that we have 1.5 billion SPS out right now, maybe closer to like 1.4, or we'll just say like, 1.3, 1.4, when you take out whatever's in the DAO. What is that going to look like with a growing player base? And what I mean by saying that is, what does this look like with 5,000 players or 10,000 players or 20,000 players, right? Not in the hundreds of thousands, not in the millions, but something that I believe is attainable in a bull run if the team is going to engage in marketing and we see a lot of people returning, which is definitely happening. So that is all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Again, if you're buying SPS, I'm not trying to hate on anybody buying SPS right now. It's definitely, things are definitely exciting around here. My whole point is we're not quite at the flywheel yet. So I'm just trying to be very hyper aware of what these purchases are and what they mean. And I'm hoping that once we can get to a kind of DEC neutral position so that we are able to start burning SPS for any additional DEC, then I'll know that, hey, things might take off at this point, right? Because any new product, any new thing that comes out, any new players that come in, they're all going to require DEC for something, right? And if they're not going to buy it off the market, they're going to burn SPS for it, which is fan-freaking-tastic. So that's all I got for you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.